Welcome, Mr. E-Rock, to Bridge the Gap. That's the show over here at Behind That Suit, where our main goal is to interview you, but in a sense, bridge the gaps of knowledge and shit. You went through a whole life of experiences. You've done a whole lot of things in your world. And regardless to whatever, wherever people are at, I've managed to learn something insightful and profound from every single person I've talked to here. So does the audience, so does the everything. So it's a real pleasure to have you here so we can bridge the gaps. Because, let's talk a little bit about E-Rock and why he's here. Y'all deserve that explanation. So we did this De-cem-BARS contest up on Facebook. And basically how that worked is he had to pick some 3 words and rap over one of the Beat Genius's beats and whatnot, and he spits that shit, and it's fucking fire. And I know for a fact, because I was one of the judges, that the man was in everybody's top 3. I know for a fact that that's the facts of the situation. It was a very consistent agreement that you deserved that win, and so that was fucking really cool. And it was just such a delight to look at it. Like, it was just such a profound verse. The delivery was stellar. Everything about it was just so excellent. And as we just listened to E-Rock's music just now, we heard that same consistency, but there's also a lot of versatility. Now, I don't know a lot about E-Rock. I never heard of him, honestly, no offense, before this, because, he's not in the scene here. He's actually over in BC. Where are you from? I can't remember the name of the place, but I saw it was a place I'd never heard of in BC.
It's Mount Currie, BC, man. We're next door neighbors to Whistler.
Fair enough, man. Thanks for sharing that. So that's why, to me, this is also extra cool, right? Because it's not, sometimes like people get kind of pigeonholed into one thing. So I could talk about Montreal for the rest of my life, but I also want to know about what's going on in other places. So having you here is a real treat because it gives us an opportunity to look at another place in Canada and see another lens into what it's like to being an MC inside of the Canadian scene, which is excellent. But then we bumped your music today, and I probably listened to your shit for about 2 hours straight. And I found that the more I listened to your music, the more I liked it. It had some depth to it. An interesting tidbit that we'll probably explore in your story, just to show you I really did pay attention, is in your early shit, you're a lot faster and trickier, and it seems a lot more about flossing on technique. And then you slowed the fuck down and got a lot more message driven with the newer shit. So I saw that transition and I thought it was super interesting, and that's how I knew your story is going to be extra fucking dope, because that means you're paying attention and you're making big man moves, and I respect the shit out of that. So anyway, I don't know that much else about you. That's why you're here. Without further ado, I just want to welcome you one more time, E-Rock. Welcome here. And if it's okay with you, I can ask you my first convoluted question, because my questions are convoluted.
Let's hear it, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
No worries, man. It's absolutely my fucking pleasure. You totally earned this shit, dude. You fucking killed that. So basically one day my girlfriend's washing the dishes and shit, and she's bumping some fucking Black Eyed Peas. She's like, I got a feeling, ooh, like that shit, right? And so this is all like fucking significant, right? Because she's doing chores now, and it's 2020 at the time. And I'm like, yo, wait a second. 10 years ago, we was all in the clubs drunk as fuck going and singing that shit out together. And we used to do that jump in the circle, and it was really awkward when I think back on how dorky I personally look doing this shit. But then I realized, yo, wait a second. That means that like club music is really just the future chores music, right? And so then I thought, yo, when it comes to musical journeys and crap, everybody seems to start, what are your influences? What inspires you? And I'm like, that's not really where it starts, man. For me, like, Led Zeppelin and shit was shoved down my throat as a kid, whether I wanted to listen to it or not, right? Like, a disco was around. I didn't have a choice. Won't you take me too? That shit was just there. And it made me realize that anybody involved in music, like, the story actually starts a lot earlier. The story starts when you're a young one and you're in your environment and you have your parents and whatnot, or whoever's around, and they're listening to their former club music doing chores, and that's being exposed to you. So in a sense, you're getting the vibe of another generation's party music. But then as I ask this question more and more, it evolves, right? So there's car ride music. Maybe you have siblings, and siblings were part of that music. Then we started thinking about stuff like, yo, there's the radio, there's the TV, CDs, tapes. So why don't you walk us a little bit through what it was like when you were young, like we're talking as young as you can remember, and the beginning of your real musical journey through the music that was forced upon you by your environment.
One of the first songs I remember constantly hearing was, Sugar Sugar or Sugar Sugar from, an older artist that my mom liked. That alongside with fuck else did she used to listen to, man? Paula Abdul, like Straight Up and shit like that.
That's a great song though.
Yeah, I don't knock it, man. You know, it's still on my playlist today. And you know, early influences stem back to, you know, I have an older sister who used to bump stuff like Aerosmith and Bon Jovi and, you know, Metallica and shit like that. So I grew up with a really diverse, like,
Mm.
taste in music.
I think it's cool that you brought up your sister, right? Because that one's so I'm trying to like track this shit because it's fucking fascinating, right? So one thing is when you have an eclectic taste in music, usually when you're young like that. So you have Paula Abdul and Metallica being exposed to you as a youth by some older influences in your life, and you make a
Yeah.
versatile array of music today. Versatility was one of the takeaways we had with it. There is absolutely a correlation between how you were exposed to music at that age and the kind of sounds you're producing today. So I'm glad you shared that with us because, yo, it's fucking actually relevant. But what about like the distribution and shit? Like, how are you guys consuming music at home? Was it the radio, the TVs, all of that shit?
I recall radios and, you know, 8 tracks and cassette tapes and stuff like that being played. My mom's old Buick, we used to roll down the fucking dirt road, and she'd be popping tapes in and out. You know, Paula Abdul, John Lee Hooker, stuff like that. Just yeah, like I said, a very
Like
diverse.
tapes. So well, you're not. So I'm asking questions on purpose because I know I'm talking away from it. So it's a pre-internet era, right? And it's
Oh
interesting
yeah,
because sometimes people have different experiences with the pre-internet era. But it's also important because as we go along in your story, this is the kind of shit that contextualizes your artistic journey. Like this was relevant. You said 8 tracks. You know what that shit was, right? Not everybody knows what that is. So when you're hearing the hip hops and they're talking about the production shits and they're talking, you understand this already at a different level than maybe somebody else. So as you're saying these things, it's kind of little clues to me about who you are at a deeper level. Because again, it's hard to find information on people sometimes. So that's really fresh. Go
one of
ahead.
the uh, one of the things that used to drive like my older sister crazy is I had this tiny little 45 and a fucking small little record player as a really young kid. I'm talking like 4 or 5, and I remember the
Okay.
fucking song, man. It was Froggy Went a Courtin', and it was just on loop. It just pull the needle back to the beginning of this fucking loop, and it was just Froggy Went a
Hold up. It
Courtin'.
was
It
just
was just
like one song on a vinyl thing, and that was just it. Like it's almost like a
a
one-off
child song.
one-off little toy thing. That's fucking
Yeah.
cool. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
and
a
it used to drive my older sister fucking crazy because I would just play it back and play it back and play it back, and all day long she would just hear this fucking kid's song. And it took me a long time to find this goddamn song when I grew up, man.
that's amazing. And I think it's cool because I mean I'm the older brother, so I can like smile thinking back to how my little brother would do shit like that, and that's fucking fun, man. But it's cool. So I guess the next real question. Oh, before that, there are other elements to hip hop more than just rapping, and it's important to ask about them. And I realized something. Everybody was a dancer, or if they were a dancer at all in their life, it certainly happened when they were a kid. So were you into stuff like dancing, the graffiti arts, all of this shit? Was any of this interesting to you at this point in your life?
I mean, yeah, as an artist, we've all definitely been through that phase, and there was a time in life where, yeah, I would try to get my ass out there, but it just wasn't for me.
Hmm. Fair enough, man. Personally, I'm not really a dancer or anything else. I'm more of like a talkity talk guy, but it's still just in case because sometimes people remember it and it's like, oh, those are cool stories. So the next main question for this whole flow of things is it's about more when you actually start your musical identity, right? So usually in the youth, we don't care as much. It's just what's around us. We've managed to say it's about puberty, so let's say 8 to like 13ish. Somewhere in that range, people tend to find a song or a moment and it goes, yo, this is my shit. And it's not this is the it's my shit. And that starts your like actual taste in music. Do you remember what that moment was and when that moment was?
Absolutely. Again, stemming back to my older sister, flipping through her cassette tapes and throwing shit on her tiny little stereo that she had in her room, and finding, actually, you know what, before that I remember bumping Vanilla Ice and shit like that. like, you know, the track Rasta Man. And but these were just kind of like one-off things. But I specifically remember, you know, being in my older sister's room, flipping through tapes, and I threw this one shit on, and it was bum bum. Woke up quick at about noon and was like, "What the fuck is this, man?" You know, I'm talking like 6, 7 years old. I'm bumping, you know, Easy E in my sister's fucking room, and it just blew my mind.
That's amazing. So is it
And
like so like at that point you started getting more heavily invested into music?
yeah, then I found, you know, as the years went on, I started, you know, stealing my sister's music. I don't know if it was her music or her friend's music that was being left at the house, but I remember the Doggy Style album being a huge influence and being stolen. Cypress Hill, you know, stuff like
Okay.
that.
Okay, you can definitely hear that shit in what you're producing now. You can hear like that level of like influence, I would say. That's fucking cool. At that point were you like I'm gonna be a rapper or were you just a fan?
I was just a fan. The sound was phenomenal, man. There was nothing else like it.
Right. And so at what point do you then transition into like, yo, I can do this?
Eminem, dude.
Okay. So at what point in your
Uh,
life does that happen? Like tell us a bit more about it.
what was it, 99?
That would
Something
be
like
when he
that.
blew up with My
When
Name Is.
when Eminem dropped, it was the first time I seen it. You know, like I was always going to walking to school, beatboxing and shit like that, but I was never really heavy into writing raps. And then I seen Eminem come out and was just like, dude, understanding and knowing that this culture was predominantly black, and then seeing a white guy come into it. You know, not to say that I'm white or anything, man, because I'm First Nation, but to see that and to see that, you know, a white dude came out and just shocked the entire world, I said to myself right then and there, man, shit, I can do that.
I respect that a lot actually. So I mean, when do you actually like start doing it? So let's like go through it. Like, yeah, because usually I find people have a dibble dabble phase. They're doing a couple of freestyles here and there. They're doing a couple little things. So is that kind of the same thing with you, where you dabble with it for a while until you get more serious with it, or do you like just off the jump run into it?
It was a lot of dabbling for sure, you know, just 14, 15, writing raps, had not a fucking clue what a bar was or how to fucking rhyme on beat. It was just writing, man, just writing and writing and writing.
Are you reading at this time? Are you a reader?
No, not really.
Fair enough. I just ask. But the fact is, you're still 15, 16, writing. You know, putting in clockwork, right? So, if the truth is that 10,000, if it's true that it's 10,000 hours to mastery, and you're already clocking hours at such a young age, it's a hugely fucking impressive thing to me, right? Like, not everybody is optimized in their youth like that. So, kudos to you for like believing in yourself enough to put that time and effort into yourself like that. You know, parents watching, encourage your kids and all that shit. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
so you're writing stuff out and a teenager. Are you recording at all? Are you performing any of it, or is it just like you're writing your shit on the low?
It was just kind of writing on the low, just spitting it to the homies at the fucking the school and shit like that. Like, hey, check this out, what I wrote, you know, last night or the night prior, and wasn't really into memorization all that much. I'd be reading full sheets of fucking rhymes to my homies in the hallways and shit. And yeah, there was no means of recording yet, and I come from a bit of a broke background, so there was
I feel that, man.
we couldn't afford shit like that.
No, me too. No, straight up. Like, yo, because I'm all into it. If you're going to share with me, I got to share with you. Straight up, I come from that welfare shit. Okay, like, not to say that it was forever, but like at young ages and stuff, like in that point in my life, it was like, yo, $20 for a movie was a huge fucking deal, kind of thing, you know, like, so like I totally get where you're coming from, and I think it's actually important when people share that, right? Because it kind of explains something that a lot of people went through. So when you say that to me, I'm like, yo, bro, I feel you. I really resonates with me. So I want to just thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that. So yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man. High school, I was writing a bunch of shit. I was doing the same kind of things. I wasn't actually brave enough to read it to people. Well, Nobody really wanted to hear me do it, but it's cool that you were like
I
fucking bopping around like
fucking
that.
force my shit down my homies' throats, man. Like, yo, come here and listen to this, man.
I used to make them read the page. I used to be like, yo, you want to read this? Yo, you want to read this? Yo, you want to read? Oh, you're so good. I'm like, yeah, yeah. And that meant nothing. I realize now everybody says that. So it's not like real compliments, but it still made me believe I could do it. So it was worth it in the big picture. But yo, that's cool, man. I respect that grind of like putting the time in when you're young and putting it out like that. So I guess high school goes on. For the record, I'm not going to know what it is, but what high school did you go to?
Pemberton Secondary.
Respect. Other people are gonna know what that is and be like, "Yeah, respect." Yeah, it is what it is. I'm in Montreal, but what happens after high school for you?
Shit. Immediately got a laboring job, man. Like I got the boot from high school, and yeah, I was in a foster care at the time, and the very next day I was at work and shoveling fucking snow in Whistler for Jesus fuck, $11 an hour or something like that, 10.50 an hour.
That sounds tough, man.
Yeah, it sucked.
I can appreciate that, but you did it, which is a grind. And anybody that puts in the grind is like fucking deserving of the respect. That's all I gotta say about that. So big ups to you for fucking doing what you had to do because you could have just been nothing. You could have just sat there. So that's fucking cool, man. So I guess what happens after that point? Are you grinding it out? Are you still making your rhymes on the side? Are you kind of moving on from that? What's going on in your life?
At the time, I was working with a homie of mine who, he knocked on my door and was like, "Hey, do you want to buy a CD?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I purchased one of his mixtapes and was blown away because at that point I still hadn't recorded anything other than on a fucking little MP3 player through the microphone with the beat playing in the background and shit like
Hold up, you
that.
used to do
And
that?
nobody didn't everybody.
Nah, for real. Not everybody did. I did not do that. I actually learned a lot through this channel because here's one of those weird things. Sometimes, okay, when I talk to guys in New York, they're all like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, dude, how could I know what you mean? I didn't grow up in Harlem. I don't know fucking anything about like fucking hip hop culture in the 80s and 90s. Like, dude, I was in Montreal, right? Like, we were having language
Yeah.
politics issues. That was dominating our. So nah, man. And then we all grew up at different times. So for some people, the same version of what you're doing is to using tapes and 8 tracks and shit. So why I actually want to stop and just kind of focus and hope that you can break it down a little bit more is because by hearing people's little tricks on how they circumvented shit to improve their craft, we call those knowledge nuggets. That's how we can kind of take those ideas and adapt them into the modern world. Because maybe there is a kid sitting there right now with an MP3 player and some shitty equipment that goes, wait, I can start doing that? Just because you said that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this was also pre-internet, so there was no easy way to distribute it. You couldn't send it to a friend or nothing like that unless you figured out a way to get that voice file onto a computer and then transfer it over to a buddy's thing, which
Yeah,
fuck, it's labor intensive, man.
So tell us about how you actually did this recording with the MP3s.
Sitting at the computer with tiny little computer speaker with the MP3 used to have a voice recorder and a microphone on it, and
Okay.
I used to just cut from front to back a full fucking track, hooking everything in one take, man.
What you're saying is fucking amazing. Okay, like because actually, I can picture those little voice recorder things that like you could take notes on. I can picture actually sitting there and doing some shit like that. I don't know that I ever did it, but I think it's fucking cool that you did it, right? And if we think about it,
Yeah,
all of our phones right now, even the shittiest of the shitty phones, have a voice recorder on it, and everybody's got a shitty of the shittiest speaker. So now everybody in the whole world can start home recording because E-Rock told us the tricks right here, right now.
it was a lot of practice, man. It was a lot of you got to do it in one take because there was no layering.
So then I learned what people would do after that in the olden days with tapes. And this, because I see Merker shows up in the chats now. Merker was, I believe, maybe it was Merker. If not, whatever. I'm embarrassing myself. But somebody was saying they would then layer ad libs on top of that. So you'd have your vocal layer on tapes, and then you would run it one more time and put an ad lib layer on it. So at least in today's world, we could actually really emulate that experience too, because then you could play back through the speaker and add in extra layers and shit. But nah, I love the fact that you said you have to practice this. Listen, man, there's nobody that really sounds as finessed as you do that didn't put in a fuck ton of practice that nobody saw. Okay, like I heard it, dude. I heard it. It was Merker. He said it. He lulled. But basically, what I'm saying is that I hear the practice in your bars. Okay, like I hear it, and that's part of why I got excited as the pre-interview went on. And I'm like, yo, no shit, this guy's actually fucking good, dude. Like actually fucking good. Not like
Thank you.
because yo, you never know. Like maybe you won a contest one time and you go listen and it's kind of whack and it's like, oh shit, I'm about to fake some shit. But nah, this was like sincerely like fucking dope. But now you're like dropping fucking knowledge nuggets on us and you're like proving how fucking smart but resourceful you are, right? Because yo, listen, a lot of people out there talk excuses, this and that, right? E-Rock's telling us about how to jerry rig some MacGyver shit at home to get your practice on. Bruh.
One take, front to back, 216s and a hook, man.
Nah, I mean, life is a lot simpler now, so you don't necessarily have to do that. But the fact is, you need to know that people like E-Rock exist that are willing to do that, and we're all playing the same game on this internet world, right? So that's fucking fire, dude. And when are you doing this? How old are you? Is this like when you're a teenager? Is this later on?
Yeah, late teens. You know, we're talking 17, 18 or something like that.
Fucking cool, dude. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the homie who came to knock on the door and was doing the mixtape thing, him and I ended up getting together and forming a group. We called it SUN, which was Straight Up Natives.
Nice.
And we cut 2 mixtapes in our time. The first one was done all on like stolen beats and mainstream beats and shit like that. But yeah, we cut that on, I think it was Cakewalk Studio or some shit like that, with a DJ mixer and like a shitty handheld karaoke mic.
Yo, a game with the resourcefulness. But the truth is, now you're sitting here in an interview and you're like, bro, so we formed a group called Straight Up Natives and we cut a tape. So even if nobody heard it, you made it and you're talking about it today. It just shows how fucking resourceful you are, dog. Yo, karaoke mics are overrated, underrated. Yo, if you don't have a mic, it's better than nothing, you know? Like, they do have a sound.
I mean, I've also recorded on stuff like Rock Band microphones. A Rock Band mic will work if you set everything up right.
I mean, like, we're not, but again, you said mixtape again, so you're not like trying to front like, yo, this is a studio thing. But yo, like, I actually want to make a mixtape series called Sounds Like Shit, so I can get away without mixing or mastering it, just to like fucking rap on it. That's like, those are like down the line ideas I have, but like, yo, it's a mixtape. It doesn't have to sound good. It just has to be a bunch of fucking raps of the shorter variety. Wait a second. All the singles are 2 minutes now. All those mixtapes are like 2-minute shits back in the day. Wait a second. Maybe mixtapes had a huge influence on music that people... Actually, I just thought of that right now a little bit, yo, because I'm trying to look for connections in the world. But the more I learn about the mixtape hustle, yo, like, seriously, mixtapes had a huge influence on the modern mainstream shit. So just the fact that back in that era you were fucking with it shows you had a finger on the pulse in the real shits.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I talk a lot. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off.
My first one, I actually remember, you know, and Jesus Christ, the labor intensity of that as well was just something else, to just sit there all night long and burn CDs off the same desktop all night long, burning CDs, you know, marking them up and stuff like that. And
you did that.
I remember I went into school like just before I got the boot there with a stack of 30 mixtapes, and it was, you know, we were selling them for $10 a pop or something like that. And it was, at the time, you know, one of the fastest $300 I've ever made, man.
Hold up. So you're a teenager and you make this bootleg mixtape within the means of what you can produce. So not to say that it's bad. It's amazing because you did it. Okay, I didn't do no shit like that. You did shit like that. And then you flipped it and made some money.
Yeah.
Bruh. That's some knowledge nugget shit right there you're sharing. Because yo, so like you did it right. It didn't necessarily matter that like people listened to it or not. I'm sure they did. But the fact is, you created something and you put it out into the world, and surprise, surprise, easy $300 in your hand. Why? Because you put that labor of effort in. Look, everything we're doing has a bit of a labor attached to it, right? There's almost, I mean, yes, these days there's less labor attached to much things, but because you did that shit, you stood out and you created something that was worth purchasing. You made a mixtape at a time when people were not probably doing that around you. I'm assuming maybe everybody's. Are people doing that? Do you guys have like a popping music scene where you're from, or are you like one of the first dudes to do it where you're from?
Definitely a pioneer where I'm from. I live in a very small place, and not a lot of people are doing this.
Yo, incredible, dude. Yo, for real, that's really incredible. Like, I live in Montreal. Like, I'm blessed. I have like a whole fucking city's worth of fucking people for days and shit. It has its own problems. Don't get me wrong, being super saturated, but we have ecosystem shits like studios and stuff where in a way you may not have access to all of that. So again, that resourcefulness is fucking fascinating. Um, but so go on.
Yeah, no, I was just agreeing.
But yeah, as far as that goes, so you guys did the first one on other people's beats, which is fair enough, and then you said you made a second one.
Yeah.
That one was real beats, or not? When I say real, like your own beats, or was it again other beats?
Again, it was just stolen beats off of um, just beat websites and stuff like that. We just ripped beats off of YouTube, and just everything was just stolen. We couldn't afford shit.
Yeah, I don't have any disrespect for that. A lot of people may not like it, but then I found out like what am I gonna do? Not everyone can afford some shit, and you're young when you're doing this too. We're not even talking about like 33-year-old employed person stealing beats off of YouTube instead of putting money into the scene. That's a different reality than young guy trying to get his name out, trying to get a thing on. This is not even nowadays times. It's probably like the early internet before a lot of us even knew better. Like, why would we think twice about half this shit? We didn't know better, you know? Now it's a different fucking
Yeah.
world. But I definitely really just appreciate you sharing your experiences, because even on the front where it's like, yo, we don't necessarily understand how easy things are today compared to what it is, right? Like, we don't understand it fully. So you sharing this with us helps us have a better sense of context for the luxuries that we have today with our multi-screen setups and this, that, the next thing, you know? Like, it's nice, all things considered.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So you guys made those two things. Were you performing? Were you doing that kind of shit too?
Here and there, once in a while, like I said, I live in a small spot, and my stuff wasn't all too family friendly, and a lot of the performance opportunities that I had were like, hey, come perform at this gathering or this event that we got. Oh, by the way, it's family friendly. Do you have anything for that? Yeah, no thanks, I don't.
Yeah, I understand that feeling too. That's fucking a real thing though, and it's actually like a good thing to take away is you might want to have a couple family friendly ones up in your arsenal, or at least be like, I can edit it, you know, like in a way, like just because there are opportunities that exist that might be family friendly or whatever. Like once I had to perform in a cafe, and they're like, you can't swear here, and I'm like, and then I swore in my intro. I didn't swear on the song. I said, "Oh fuck, I can't fuck it." And I had like a that moment, and then they all laughed. But no, it's actually really important to be family friendly. So thanks for sharing that. And gorgeous doggy. I'm a big dog person. That's fucking cool, bro.
Thank you.
So what comes after these two mixtapes for you?
Work, built a career. Just kind of put that whole like the rap thing on a back burner for a bit. Continue to dabble in it, drop a track here and there over, 7 years, 8 years, or something like that. Maybe a handful of tracks. I'm talking 8 or 9. And then I met another homie who heard me rap, made beats, and was like, dude, all your beats are coming from me now. You don't need to steal these things anymore. Just come and mess with me. He's like, dude, I bang out like 10 beats a day. I'll send you stuff all the time. And so at that point, I had I don't know what I'd like to call an exclusive producer who would just make me stuff, just constantly getting beats over the internet. And we also rap together too.
How
So
did you meet him? Because that's some fire shit, actually. And it's right, again, knowledge nuggets, right? Relationships are key. I have a guy that makes me beats, and I have a relationship with that guy. And honestly, it was huge for me early on. He hooked me up proper. So I understand the power of what it is to have a producer that is willing to make beats just for you. How did you meet that guy? How did that actually happen a little bit?
we had a mutual friend who used to kind of, you know, talk about us to us, if that makes sense. Like we never really met. He was from another town, but this homie of mine would tell me, oh, you gotta meet my buddy. I think at the time he went by the name J Boy or something like that, but it was like, you gotta meet him. You gotta meet him. And yeah, one day I was chilling at the bar, and this dude come around the corner, and I knew the girl who was on his arm, and she introduced me to him. Said, this is so and so, and was like, yo, I heard about you, man. Told him I'm E-Rock, and it was just, hey, I heard about you too, and it's like, fuck,
Mm.
come with me. And we went around the back of the bar, and we busted a bunch of freestyles, and it started from there.
So, yo, I gotta say, there's another knowledge nugget packed into that shit. And it's the power of other people talking about you, actually. So, we had this little thing where people are learning about marketing for the first time, like real marketing in social media land. And so often you'll have this thing where people share their own shit. Like, when I share my own song, you don't click on it half as fast as when you share my song. Then people might actually click on it. And if I share you sharing my song, well, then people might click on it more, because there's this power in other people talking about you. And in a lot of ways, if y'all really want to up your social media game, find four homies, pay the money, and get them to share your tracks when you post them. Pay them $10 to share your shit. They'll probably do it for a fucking gram or whatever. And then watch how you get fucking better results than just sharing your own stuff on it. Not you. I actually don't know, but you shared my shit. And I saw the number of people interested in the event go up, more so than when I share my own event, just to show you it's like a real thing that even I witnessed. I had a little data point from you. And because yes, I also shared it to the Beat Genius, or to the group, but then because Beat Genius approved that and let it be there, it kind of co-signed it. So these social validation points increase the reputation in the eyes of some people. Not everybody, whatever, but it just, like, on a subtle level does that. So even in your story, you had this other person that kind of hyped up both of you to each other. So when you both met, you both knew who each other were, which kind of made it more of a respecting, a more interesting mutual thing, which led to a great relationship in your life. So in a lot of ways, people, bigging up your friends and shit and creating these kinds of networks in their life is one of the best ways you can help people grow. So thank you again for sharing such a wonderful nugget. So yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one.
So what happens then with this? So you got all these beats coming in. Are you set up to record at home? Do you have a studio? What's going on in that part of your life?
It was, so makeshift with the shittiest mic in the world, and the setup was just so bad and so wrong. But I just, kept listening to mainstream stuff and trying to emulate the sound in terms of the mix and stuff like that with what I had. But yeah, we made a lot of music together, him and I.
Mm.
Some of that Spotify stuff that's on there, like If You All Just Try, that Leave 'Em Spinning track.
Mm.
What else is there that fool made?
Leaving Spinning was like, it sounded young and fast paced. That was the one thing I noticed. I was talking about, like, I remember I was having this moment listening to your shit before, and I was like, wow, look how slow and message driven he is, so fucking cool. And then Leaving Spinning comes on, and you're like, "Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da," and I'm like, that had to be like a younger you. And then I realized that as you got older, your shit slowed down, and that was fucking cool. But yo, Leaving Spinning is fucking cool, dude. I liked it a lot. Great tune.
Thanks.
When did you make that?
It's quite some time ago, 6 years ago.
Fucking cool, dude.
But yeah, there's way more stuff out there that him and I have created together, just in terms of both, the artistry and rapping, and me on top of his beats and stuff like that. But I fell out with my rap crew, and I no longer fuck with these fools. So I
Sometimes
tried. I tried
Things
to
happen.
ghost as much of that work with them as possible, you know, move on. And I started, posting my stuff on all streaming platforms, Spotify and stuff like that to gain a different fan base.
Hold on, just shout out XXGager11XX for the follow because that's the rules on Twitch. When you get the follow, you have to shout out the person. That's just the rules. But yo, I actually really empathize with that idea. Like, you don't have to really talk about the Fallout stuff. I'm not that like we try not to be that like drama and whatever here, but it is really interesting what you said too. Um, because what you didn't say was like whatever happened. You were like, look, I had to cut out the negativity from my fucking life and then rebrand and reorganize and make some shit happen for myself. And I think in a lot of ways, as we grow up as people, a lot of us go through that type of shit. A lot of us actually have experiences like that. And like literally, man, I know so few people from my past today. And it's no disrespect to them. We just all went in different directions and shit. It just kind of is what it is. But we did get a question from Ismail. And I like the crowd questions too because it makes my life a little easier. But which of your songs has your favorite beat? Like, which beat is your favorite song of all of your songs?
Mm, that is a tough one. I like Fundamental Transformation just due to the simplicity of it.
Hmm.
You know, um, it's just keys and drums. That's it. No bass line. When I was making that beat, it was supposed to be a collabo beat with somebody, so which is why it's so basic. And then there's other beats like um, Microphone Monsters. And when I made Microphone Monsters, I knew I was on some shit, man. Like that is such a killer beat. It's got a hard West Coast vibe to it.
I do like it a lot. That one like really popped out. So I feel you on that. It does have a great vibe. I know that every time the second guy came on, I didn't know which one was the second guy. It was like, whoa, that guy's voice, that delivery. Like, no offense to you, that guy stole that shit. It was a fucking bang out. Fucking, you're great too, but like that guy's voice is so standout. So just the fact that you chose to work with him was just wisdom on your end, and everything about that song is a smash, man. And I'm not gassing you up. I listen to a lot of music, so if I lie, it fucks up my reviewer reputation. So I'm saying straight up, dude, you have a very powerful and really good sound. So I
Thank
encourage
you.
everyone there to check it out. I see 14 people on the Twitch. So what I'm gonna do right now while y'all are here, I'm gonna link the man's Spotify so y'all can at least give it a little listen. I don't want to play the music myself because I don't want to like fuck up the Facebook streams. But that's just kind of it. So y'all can give him a little follow poo and show some love like that because yo, his music's dope, honestly. Um, so basically, you're creating a bunch of stuff from that time, and part of what you're releasing now is like all of what you're, um, if all of what you're releasing now is it like related to stuff from back then, or did you like transition into new stuff over the point? And I guess I don't know. I feel like I'm not sure when we are in the timeline as this whole like when did this whole beat arrangement happen? Like what year was all of that going down?
Man, it was like 10 years ago or something like that. I first met the old man, and him and I kicked it off, and then I think yeah, over the next like 6 years, 7 years after that, him and I clicked and made a whole bunch of music together, and some of which like was never ever released. Like I still got stuff on my computer right now with that guy on it, on top of his own beats that I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with. Like
Well, we got an interesting comment from Merker Music, and I don't want to like chastise and but he says there's no need to call them fools because if you were once cool, there's a respect that can be kept, and then if you think that bigger and further, maybe down the line there's a way to bridge gaps. That's what the show's called, right? Bridge the gap, and maybe there's a way to repair a relationship that was once bad and actually get out of it a whole new series of shit. Because what I can tell you is the music you have released with it is actually fire, and it really sounds dope. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. I mean, life has a lot of moments where sometimes you have fallouts and sometimes there's big there's happy moments and sad. And I don't. It's it's all up to y'all in the future. But it just means that maybe there's a possibility it could go in that direction.
definitely, which is why I still hang on to this music that I in these collabos that I've done with this guy. And I don't mean no disrespect to anybody when I call them fools. It's just
Right.
kind of what I call people. Like, I'll
Mm.
come down and around the corner to my workmates and call them fools. Like, what are you fools doing over here?
Okay. Yeah, sometimes when we don't know you, like we sometimes, have our own feelings that we attach to it. Personally, I'm bad at humor. So I get in trouble all the fucking time on Facebook because people like make jokes. Like, Josh Coulter? I don't know if you've seen that guy's name. So at first, I didn't understand how he posts and stuff, right? I didn't understand it personally. I was like, yo, this is some weird shit. And then I thought he was like, I felt away. But then I proceeded to realize this is just his sense of humor, and he's just trying to have fun in his own fucking weird way. And like, I'm like, oh, I get it now. But a lot of times people will like fucking show up and like make a joke that I never heard them talk before. And then I'm like, I take them seriously or whatever, and then they get mad at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry for fucking up your day. I didn't get your joke. My bad. So yo, I totally fucking relate to all of this, man, because yeah, like Merker's saying, when we heard it, it kind of felt like you had some beef that went down. We didn't necessarily think about it from the perspective that that's like camaraderie. So yo, actually that's crazy, right? That's a huge lesson, I think. Just this moment, this is what happens on Facebook all the time, and I don't think people realize. You said something that made sense to you, I heard the word fool, and I'm like, that's a negative word, and then I didn't even consider it like that, right? So everybody fucking can learn from that situation, and I think it's fucking cool. So thanks again for sharing everything that you're sharing. It's fucking fire, man. So
Yeah,
that's about.
I've been called abrasive more than a few times.
It's a learning world, man. But you're abrasive, but at the very least, I feel a humility in you. I feel like you're willing to put in work. I feel like you're grinding proper, and at the end of the day, the music sounds dope. And at the end of the day, you didn't just win that contest because you were trash. You came in and you did your thing and you fucking won that shit. Like it was fucking legitimate. Everything about the
Yeah.
presence and the personality. Okay, yo, at the end of it, he's like, yo, I'm gonna run up on you, Scotty, and jack that beat. And like it was just fucking the little flair of it. I fucking liked it. It was fun. Um, so I guess you're doing all of this then in the early 2010s, right? And then what happens next in your life as this is all going on, and you're still working, dibbling and dabbling, or like at what point does it like elevate to like, yo, this is like it?
Not until like very, very recent times. I'm talking the last, couple of years where I really just sat down and taken my craft seriously, and stems from that, quote unquote beef with these guys because having that fallout just made me want to succeed a little more, and have a lot more people recognize that my craft is a serious craft. I'm real when I talk about this.
Nah, I feel that. Um, so like, I can empathize heavy with that. Like just the idea of having people respect you for what you do, especially when they don't know your whole story. They don't know that you put in all this time, your whole life, into trying to build up something, and then they just see a thing here and there, and they think whatever about it. And I mean, in some regards, a lot of us maybe are not the greatest marketers of ourselves, so we didn't do a great job of sharing our music. But I empathize so heavy with the idea of what it feels like to be like, nah, I gotta get these people to take me seriously. I gotta do something fucking proper. I gotta. Like that moment when it stops being like, yo, fuck them, and it's more like, okay, I have to do something different. And that's, I think, the biggest knowledge nugget that I think we've gotten so far, because at the end of the day, that's where you really start to grow, right? Because that's when you realize it's okay, the doggy's cute. We all fucking feeling it. It's the Twitch world, it's live, it is what it is. Everybody knows what's up. Side topic, are y'all in lockdowns where you're at? Because we just got curfews where I'm at, and so I'm mad curious.
It's not a full lockdown. There's guidelines in place that everybody still follows, but it's not a full lockdown.
Mm. That's a blessed situation. I'm now trying to be like, how the fuck am I gonna get to the grocery store before 7 p.m.? But it's fucking weird. But yeah, that's crazy though. So what happened to make you like? Was there a specific moment that like actually made you go, bro, I gotta do it like this? Like I gotta. And how did you actually start to take it more serious? So there's one thing to say I take it more serious, but what were the actual moves you started to do to make it more serious?
I upped my equipment game for sure. I had to stop dinking around with, you know, shitty microphones and DAWs that were just half-assed, and
Okay, what's a
I had to sit down and
DAW?
purchase.
I know what a DAW
Um,
is, but sometimes I ask questions like I don't know what it is. So for the people that don't, because I know that not many people know what a DAW is. I call them DAWs.
Digital audio workstation.
And what is
Something that you can you either make sounds with a MIDI controller, make beats, or you record on it.
big facts? So like Pro Tools and all that shit.
Yeah.
Just because, if you actually want to Google how to do stuff, you actually need to use DAW if you want to really actually be efficient on Google when dealing with sound issues. Because if that's how all the people talk about it, so if you're trying to be like sound program or whatever, you're fucking done. You need to say DAW. DAW is what it is. Or DAW. I might be saying it wrong. I've never actually like talked about it before in real life, so it's interesting to hear you choose DAW and I went with DAW. I don't know if there's like
Yeah.
a real one out there. That's fair. That's a great thing too, man, because upping my gear was huge for me. It was about 2016, and I spent most of that year slowly acquiring gear so that I could like pop off and actually do shit at home, because I realized that I was spending too much money at the studio. Because over here we have studios, right? So I could just go spend money there. And it wasn't like that the rate was bad. It was that like, I have to spend like the hour and a half to get there, or hour to get there, and then you're there, right? And then you're going to want to smoke a little doobie. But now that little doobie you're smoking is like you're paying money to smoke that joint. And then like you're sitting there and you got stress, you got the clock ticking, and it's like boom, 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 boom. So you're fucking compromising a little bit on quality. This is me. This isn't everybody's experiences. I'm just expressing mine. So I don't really like that vibe. So I upped my gear. I got shit. I made it all happen. It took so long, dude. It took so much time to fucking get the gear in place. So I don't know how long it took you, but for me, it took ages. And then I was able to produce. And it changed my whole fucking life. So I like the fact that you shared your fucking gear part, because that was a great place to start if you want to up your shit, getting gear.
The audio interface, man, is one of the biggest things. You got to stop messing around with the USB microphones and buy an audio interface.
Mm-hmm. Which one?
It really takes your sound to a whole new level.
That's a big facts. I mean, there are, okay, look, if you try to do like podcasting shit, don't worry about it. USB mics is cool with you. If you try to do music, it's probably advisable to go with the more audio interface. And that's also known as the sound card. People call it the sound card audio interface. They're external audio sound cards and shit. Like, people use these language interchangeably. So you just need to know that when you're doing your Googles. But I think it's fucking important shit, man. I got which audio interface do you have?
Currently I've got a Behringer X1622, like a 12 channel mixer.
Nice. That's fire.
Yeah, she's a USB mixer, so everything in and out of the mixer prior to the recording program.
That's some fire though. That's actually cool, man. That means all the actual work is done in the mixer, and you can manage that shit, and then it runs a final sound to the USB, reducing fucking workload on your computer. Is that what I understand is happening here?
Pretty much, yes.
Oh shit. So if you ain't got a baller ass PC, buying this little piece of gear here is effectively going to go ahead and save you the big money to upgrade the hard, because computer upgrades are mad expensive. We all know what it is. So this is like a way to manage the workload. That's fire though. That's fire. Thanks for sharing that, dude.
Yeah, and I'm still rocking what is that, an Apex 560, or I can't remember what the hell this microphone is. It's one of the first condenser mics I paid for anyway, and she's still holding strong, so I don't see a reason to upgrade.
Fair enough, man. I feel that entirely. I got this Shure from work because I do webinars from them. So technically, I don't own this one mic here, but everything else is mine. But yeah, I got a Focusrite 18i8 because I needed 4 XLR inputs so I could podcast with a bunch of people in the room. And that was my main priority. But yo, it's fucking cool that you have gear, man. I like talking about gear. I fucking find it really dope. I also like how you have multiple monitors behind you. That made me like you more. I'm not gonna lie to you. The second I saw that, I'm like, yeah, man's got a dual screen setup. That's what the fuck it is. He knows how to save time.
Yeah, man, it's all about, increasing the workflow and productivity. It's like flipping through, windows on one screen just wasn't doing it for me.
Fair enough. Yo, I'm not even gonna lie. It sounds a little bit like the sounds a little choppy, and sometimes that happens with Zoom. So what I'm gonna suggest is that you dip off the call, jump back on the call, and if you can do that, and what I'm gonna do at the same time is actually throw up a be right back screen. So cool. We was all just bumping your shit for a quick second, and now we are back into this interview vibes. So I guess what I'm super curious about too, right? Not just the gear part. But like, what else changed in your world?
The Bars of Death thing, man. I got introduced to online competitions.
When did that happen? Because like, how old are these things? Like for me, it was very recent. I discovered them.
Me too, last year.
Oh man, for me it
But
was like 3 months ago. So like last year is crazy. Tell us about that.
I mean, I've done a few competitions prior to that. But it was just, somebody sent me, here, try this, here, try this. But last February, I had a 32 bar competition get thrown in my lap from a homie, an old workmate that I still chat with. Shout out, Bud. So I entered that. And then there was the RZ Destroy the Beat competition, which introduced me to people like Fats and Bars of Death, and Bars of Death has been on ever since.
All right, so you got to pretend that, well, I know exactly what you're talking about given the nature of how we met and what's happening on this interview. There's going to be a whole lot of people that are going, what in the fuck is this man going on about? And so what we're going to have to do now is have you actually break down with a little bit of detail, as though maybe, some people who don't really know about the Facebook group rap contest grand type shit going on. And, explain what it is. Also, kudos on your logo placement. My girlfriend just pointed that out. You got it on the monitor. You got it on your shirt. You got your logo all over branded. You got the family shit up there going, I'm a dad. I'm fucking killing it. Yo, good setup, dude. I like that.
Thank you.
All right, so tell us about the Facebook groups and how you got into it and actually what it is, what it's like, what it means to be a part of this stuff.
So the 32 bar competition that I was first entered into last year was just, they provide you a beat and they challenge you to come up with the best 32 bars that you can, or whatever have it, the stipulations of the bar lengths. And yeah, you write and record the specified amount of bars and you submit it in competition with other MCs that are doing the same thing for a bit of a prize pot. Sometimes there's merch, sometimes there's money, sometimes there's promo, stuff like, an interview with
That's true. I guess that is a part of the prize. This was in fact attached to contest. In fact, Montreal people, if you participated in the Smoking Ink contest and you win that, this could be you, because that's also a prize in that contest. So yeah, that's actually true, man. It's do you feel like this contest grind, this whole like universe is worth pursuing?
Oh man, the amount of networking that has taken place since I've been involved in all of these contests has just been phenomenal, man. Like I would have never have met, 3/4 of the artists that I work with and the producers that I talk to had it not been for these contests.
That's a big fact, eh? And so, what exactly is Bars of Death? How does their tournament? Are they the ones with tournaments? Is that how they're the ones that? Because I'm not, I don't know. I follow some of it. I know there's also a UBZ, I think, and there's a couple of the little other ones that are coming out. But yeah, so like basically, it was an interview Ismail as part of the prize, but we kind of listened to his music beforehand. I was just answering that. Also, do you have merch for sale? Your lady friend Bonnie asked if you have merch for sale.
Yeah, I got merch for sale.
Awesome. How do people buy merch from you?
Just shoot me a message and we'll set something up.
That's fucking fire. So that's how you would get merch from him. But yeah, that's fair enough. So how does all it work? Like, how do you participate in some of these ones? I know some of them are like 16 bar shits where you throw down a 16 or a 32 or whatever, and you fucking record it on your phone, and motherfuckers do the judging behind the scenes, and then prizes get announced. But I know that Bars of Death in particular has a few other formats. So how do you see this actually playing out? Why do you think this is actually that dope?
The reason I find that I'll mess with Bars of Death a lot more than any other competition is they are very fair. Like I have seen judges in this group, you know, pick another artist over a homie that they grew up with, you know, and it's just there's no bias over there. But you know, shit, I totally fucking
No worries about it. It's how
had
it
a brain
is.
fart.
Dude, we're live. Yo, you know how many times I fuck up when we're live? You know how many times? All the fucking time. I say dumb shit every day, man. Nah, it's totally fine. Like, cause yo, tell us about the tournaments, cause I haven't actually done a lot. I see there's tournaments playing out, and then there's like actual little celebrity people. It's like there's tiers to this shit, right? Like, I mean, for me, it's interesting. I'm not like I'm new to this culture, right? So like, and it's a culture, okay? Like, it seems like almost like a battle rap ish Facebook like a, so what I can almost trace it back is down to the SoundClick battle rappers moved this whole journey towards shit like Bars of Death. Like if you follow the history from what I've been able to surmise, it kind of grows to like, and this is like the manifestation of what previously existed in forums in 2003. So this has actually been like a culture that has always been around on the internet, and it's just manifesting. So I'm like new guy in here. I don't know fuck all about half this shit. I'm not even gonna lie. I understand the ones that are like write songs and shit, because I'm like, I know how to write songs. But yo man, it's all like this battle rappers and shit. And why do I say that? Because yo, you hear the bars and you're like, yo, you are all like predominantly battle rappers doing this shit for like the most part. So it's fucking interesting. And then I feel like these tournaments are like that. They're like a manifestation of like battle rap in a sense. These two guys is going at each other. I mean, I don't know if I'm right about that. Is that how it works with Bars of Death in them?
Somewhat. When I was first introduced to them, I had somebody message me and say, "Hey, I'm running this page and a contest called 16 Bars of Death," which is what it was called at the time. And he said, you know, hey, I think at the time was a $5 entry fee to play, and winner of it gets paid out 100% of the pot.
Hmm.
I figured, you know, is it worth it? You know, do I throw $5 down? I was like, fuck it, it's $5, man. I threw in my $5 and jumped into the ring. And, you know, when I started, I was, you know, recording on my microphone and reading off my computer screen. And shout out to the homie Fats for putting me on blast for that one. Not just me, but there were other artists that were still reading, you know, and he called us all out for it. And we're just like, you know, you guys are, this is a goddamn rap competition, man. You can't be reading.
Mm.
And yeah, I ended up kiboshing the reading and learning to memorize over the past year, and it's just elevated my skill set. But we do more than just, you know, 16 bar competitions. The first one I entered was a kind of a, I wouldn't say a bracket style, but
Yo,
you know,
describe
judges
all
would
of
vote.
this, man. This is amazing. Keep going.
Judges were voting for, you know, I think there was like 16 of us or something, and you know, 9 move forward or 10 move forward, and then we do another 16 on a different beat, and then 6 move forward, and then another, you know, so on and so forth till you were left to the last 2, and then the last one was picked. And the formats have changed over time. You know, Bars of Death was the very first place where I've ever been in some sort of, you know, online battle situation where it was, you know, fuck this guy. And I've never battled before Bars of Death, but I came in and just, you know, my bars have always been very, very aggressive. I can say fuck you like 6,000 times in 6,000 different ways.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah. Yeah, it really translated through these videos and the bars of death thing. You know, they do one-on-one tournaments as well, bracket style tournaments. They do pop-up events like they got a next 48 thing that happens over there where they throw up a poll. You're welcome to add your name in. Fans vote for who they want to see, and they send the beats out to the top two people who got voted for, and you got 48 hours to submit your verse, and it's a battle against these top two.
Mm. So it's really
Right
cool. So if it is
right
my,
now we're currently in a Tracks of the Titans,
what's
which
that?
is a full song competition. You know, you got to submit 2 16s and a hook at the very least, and
And
that's due for the 10th. So I've been working on that.
yo, this is amazing. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I participate in these contests, I'm like, there's no fucking way I'm gonna win this shit. So I'm okay with reading because there's literally no fucking way I'm gonna win this shit. I know I can, do what I gotta do. I actually faked it one time. I wrote it on the whiteboard behind me, and I put on sunglasses, and I pretended I wasn't reading, just for the fun of it. I was like, fuck it. If I'm willing to fake it that good, fuck all y'all. Nobody called me out on reading, but I'm like, yeah, like for me, it's like, it's fun. I want to participate, honestly, because it's a good time. I like posting them to Instagram. Half the reason I'm
you
doing it is to post it to Instagram. I'm not even going to lie to anybody. I'm like, oh,
know,
sorry, go on.
bars of death is where I met Beat Genius.
Yo, shout out Beat Genius who's watching this right now. I see you over there on Facebook, but like I barely see the Facebook chat. So shout out Beat Genius for holding it down and creating this opportunity. Because without Beat Genius, I didn't. Yo, he unlocked some things in my life. Got me seeing the future a little bit. And it's because of him we're even having this conversation. And he makes good
That's right.
beats. Okay, he makes good beats. That's another cool thing about Beat Genius. Anyway.
We actually, I think one of the first tracks or 16s I submitted was on a Beat Genius beat, and
Mm.
yeah, it was phenomenal. He was just like started commenting on my video like, yo, your sound is so crisp and this, that, and the third. And then we get a few more competitions into it, and we are at 16 Bars of Death's first ever song competition, where I banged out a full track, like 3 full verses, and it ended up, if you go back and look at the numbers, I pretty damn sure it's still Bars of Death's most shared and most reacted on track submission that they've ever had, which is a track called "Pick Your Man's Up," done on a
Mm.
Beat Genius beat.
Hold up. That one, I gotta just click on the Spotify for a second. That one is my favorite one of your songs. Straight
Yeah,
the fuck up. I'm not gonna lie. If you actually go and check the earlier part of this video after the fact, this very Twitch video, you're gonna watch me every time that song comes on start talking about a different part of your bars, about how this is some real shit that you're spitting. I love the tone on that song. That song basically is what I call old man rap. That's when you're basically tapping into your wisdom shits and you're recognizing things as they are. And what's most important about that track to me is you didn't try to flex on some flow shit, because the message really was the focus and most important part of that song. So it was clear, concise. Everything that you said is some shit where I'm like, big facts on. Like every last fucking little bar in that shit, man. I can't quote you on any of them now. It was a bit of time ago and we've been talking, but I'm just saying, I love that song. Sincerely, dude. It
thank
was
you.
really amazing. And shout out Beat Genius. I had no idea he made the beat. So shout out both of you for
Yeah, he
creating a masterpiece right there.
he actually customized that beat for me, because the one that I did and submitted to the group was on a different Beat Genius beat.
Mm.
And I ended up hitting him up and saying, like, hey, let's customize something for this. Like, the vibe that I'm going for with this track. You heard the lyrics and the hook and everything. Like, cook me something up, and slid him a PayPal payment, and a week later I had a custom beat for it.
Oh, it's amazing, man. And I say it's amazing because I had no fucking idea. That's just the truth of it. I do think Beat Genius is sincerely a good guy. And why am I plugging him again? Because, again, you got to plug the people who specifically give you opportunities in life. That's just the facts of how to grow and create a successful operation. And, agree to your commitments and blah blah blahs. So shut up, be genius again. And honestly, I had no idea that was it, but sincerely, of all your tracks, that was my favorite. Is that your best one? I don't fucking know. It's my favorite. That's all I can say. I can say subjective
Yeah.
Holden's taste. So, but the truth is, I really like it. I would listen to that again and again and again when I'm in that like
Thank you.
pensive shit. So that's fucking cool. I like the fact that got created out of one of these things, because I feel like I'm trying to like introduce this idea of contest to people in my city like really heavy. So I had to throw my own, just because if I put up money, then I clearly believe in it type shit. So like I'm really trying to like bring this vibe here, because I see like the kind of culture that it's creating. Like the truth is, on a networking front, bro, like I have met a whole lot of people, but you know what I also saw? A lot of fucking talent. Like I was cocky my first time, and then I threw in my little fucking verse, and I thought I was cool, and then I shut the fuck up after watching entry after entry after guy like smoking and shit, because it was that $500 BWR shit that I got in on the first time, right? I did my shit. I loved my verse because it was cool for me. It was like one of those, I always wanted to write this shit type of things. That's not how you win a contest, though. If you want to write it because of some shit you want to do, it's probably not a good contest vibe. Contests are about reading the room, guys. That's the facts of the situation. Read your fucking room.
Yep.
Anyway, so I go in there, and then I'm watching people just blow it away. Like all these people coming through, just smoking it. And then I see the Beat Genius contest myself for the Octobars. And I'm seeing people just fucking smoke it there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to win this shit. Which is fine. I'm okay with never winning this shit. I would rather do like, yo, let me throw my logo on your contest and I'll talk to your winner. That sounds more fun for me. It's so stressing. For you guys that can do contests, like, yo, this shit stresses the shit out of me. That's the truth of it. I don't like competing like that. I'm not really into it. I do it, like, a lot of why I'm competing is because I can't get people in Montreal to fucking like do contests if I'm not willing to do it myself type shit on some not be a hypocrite front. So I have to do a little 1-2 here and there. But in general, like, I don't know how you deal with the stress of that shit. It drives me fucking nuts. I don't know how you can handle that.
Deadlines, man. I work very good under pressure.
All right, elaborate.
But yeah, another thing, just recently, to circle back to that Octobars thing, I think it was Tino who ended up winning that. And I watched his interview on Shooting the Shit, and he was mentioning, about raising your presence. You can't just come in here and just throw an entry in every now and then and expect people to take you serious. Like, you got to be consistent, and consistency is a definite key in your online presence and how well or poorly people fuck with you, right? And I took that and I really ran with it. I was like, yo, the man is right, so I just started entering everything that I possibly can. And another thing is, very recently I underwent a knee surgery, which put me on the couch and gave me nothing to do but write rhymes. And it really stepped my pen game up.
Yo, hold up. I got to pause there and give you some big props. Because a lot of people go through moments where they end up with a lot of free time out of nowhere. And they don't utilize that time in any kind of productive way. The fact is, if you want a contest that literally gave you some money, and I'm pretty sure it was American money, so the number's higher for you. Therefore, and like, you get the interview and all this other shit, like, that means you earned that. Like, you took a situation in your life where, like, a bad thing happened, and it sucks, dude. I'm sorry, dude. That sounds like it's fucking awful. I would not handle moments like that very well, I'll be honest with you. But you took that and you rolled with it, and you saw the opportunity, and like, I'll be real, I don't have the time to go into contests like that. For me, it's like a different world. But for what you're doing, you still made the most of it. And like, in a lot of ways, there's a lot of people that are facing a reality in the same kind of way that you are, right? Where like they have a lot of free time on their hands, and maybe it's not rhyming. Maybe there's another thing they could be doing in their life, but they could be using this time to kind of acquire a new skill set and find a new network of people. Because, yo, I can tell you one thing, man. Like, there's a lot of people at home This is why it just worked out for me a little bit that Twitch is the shit and like people are willing to stick around because there's a lot of people at home right now without a lot of things to do, and Netflix is kind of shitty these days. So like here we are.
Back.
And yo, for real, we're still at 10 people, and it's been kind of hovering that the whole time. So motherfuckers is invested in our chat, which is fucking amazing, dude, because you're an interesting guy. So I just again want to thank you for that. But before we move on, we have a question from the homeboy Lindell Williams, who's been down from. He's like, if there's a day one in terms of audience members, Lindell Williams is a fucking day one. And he goes, is there a music genre that you prefer to rhyme over as far as beats or making beats? Actually, do you make beats or do you just rhyme over beats?
Yeah, I produce as well.
So yeah, do you have a favorite genre that you are drawn to with regards to that?
G-funk all day.
Okay.
If I could rap over and make nothing but that West Coast G-funk, man, that's where I'm gonna live.
Amazing. All right, for the sake of it, who are your favorite G-funk people that are not Dr. Dre?
Warren G, hands down.
Fair enough. Who else do you like? Just let the people know.
You know, people like Nate Dogg, and there were sounds that were coming out from Too Short that were just absolutely phenomenal.
Okay, one of your songs has this bounce to it, and I don't want to say it in case I look stupid, but I was like, that sounds so Bay Area. Just has like a wobble bounce to it, and it felt like it was some Bay Area. I can't remember which one it was. So when you said Too Short right there, I'm like, no shit, man. I was able to feel that in one of your tracks right now. Ah, that's dope, dude. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I mean, I was heavily influenced by everything on the West Coast. I didn't start listening to East Coast stuff till I was in my 20s, pretty much. You know, I was just so ignorant with, you know, West Coast is where it's at, West Coast this and that. And
I like how you phrase that. I used to pigeonhole myself when I was younger. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not proud of this now, but I used to be Hobson's the shit, everyone else sucks type of guy. Like that crowd of people who was like, you know, a big Eminem stan and just kind of said everything else was trash. I used to be that guy. It's not my proudest moment. But I like how you said it, because to me, I felt like I was ignorant. And so now I feel like opening my eyes and listening to all sorts of other shit allows me to be able to hear your album, projects. I don't know. We'll talk about that in a quick minute. And like see a lot of your influences and embrace your music with a more deep ear and appreciate you in a bigger way. The homeboy Ismail has a question. All y'all watching, feel free to throw your questions, yo, for real. Like, it's partly your interview as well as, you know, it's us, you know, like, so feel free to just ask your questions. I talk a lot, but it is what it is. But do you listen to Brother Lynch Hung?
Brother Lynch Hung is the shit, man. Strange music, baby.
That's awesome. I'm glad you like him. He's a fucking very talented guy. That's fucking cool. So are these like albums you release projects? I noticed there's one that seemed to be like 4 tracks and then 2 singles with the same cover, and then all of a sudden the cover's black now. And is that a separate project? Can we just talk a little bit about your release strategy? Because I'm super fucking curious about what you think about singles versus albums and the future of the game and all that shit.
The one with the 4 tracks on it was all old projects that I had previously released on another platform. So these are tracks that people have already heard, but to get them up on all these other platforms, I just put them all together and just threw it out. And then it was just all these singles with the black logo on it. I just throw the logo on and release it as a single. I didn't care. It was just a way to give everybody more music to listen to. I currently am working on an album. Like, I don't know, every now and then I'll jump back into it when I'm not messing with these contests online, but definitely got an album on the go.
So you know what's crazy is, in your opinion then, it's more important to be actively involved in this online contest grind as a way to further your career than it is to actually pursue creating albums. Now, why I think that's crazy is because I believe the future of music is going to change and album sales are going to become way less relevant. And what really is going to become relevant is your ability to get people to subscribe to you in some way or another. So when you're saying this contest grind is there and you're pointing out that you're able to get some buzz off of this shit and you're creating this huge network of shit, and by being consistent and present with it, you're able to create this opportunity for yourself. If you're really playing your cards right down the line, it actually seems like a more viable way to flip your entire audience into paying subscribers than it is to even bump out an album. Just the way the world is working. Like, would you throw up a Patreon
Definitely.
and try and like get some money like that?
I mean, I'd definitely be open to options for sure. But yeah, you know, to just invest in your fans a little more and try to grow your fan base through an online means is definitely a little trick that I picked up in the last year. You know, you got to evolve somewhere and grow your fan base somehow. It just can't be, you know, release music and not have anywhere to post it or anybody but your circle of friends to listen to it.
Yeah, you're spitting huge facts, dude. Like, really huge fucking facts. Like, that's actually really true. Because a lot of times we do end up in a place where, you know, like somebody was saying yesterday, like on an average post, he gets 150 of the same people liking it. So yeah, he gets 150 likes, but it's 150 of the same likes. If nobody new seeing it, is it really a performing well? If you always get 500 views, is that really good? So I like what you're saying because it implies that you have to cultivate and put effort into growing your audience and creating something that is bigger than what already exists, but with reference to your audience. So take a page, and here's how somebody like you can flip that shit. Because Patreon is basically like this. You say, for X dollars a month, you get this. And you can even start with, for $1 a month, you get nothing. Hells yeah. That's the easiest shit in the world. And then you just put a little Patreon link in all your fucking posts moving forward. So people can go click on that and start donating to you if they're supporting you and believe in what the fuck you do. Maybe for $5, they get access to a Discord that you talk to them on. Maybe for $10, you bust a little 1, 2, 16 for them based on what, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't come up with all of the things you can deliver on. But as long, and I'm saying that it has to be deliverables because I read all the terms and conditions. But as long as you can consistently deliver a thing, and it can be a thing as small as a 2-minute video saying thank you. It could be whatever the fuck you want. It could be merch items. It could be all this shit. And in exchange for whatever amount of money you want. And fun fact, they just introduced Canadian dollars to their system. Fun fact. So it'll actually be a little easier to get Canadians on board these days. And when I look at somebody like you, I'm like, yo, shit, man, make a Patreon like after this fucking call, dog. Like, put up a $1 a month, support me. And you may even make $10 today. I don't know, maybe not. And it won't be today. It has to actually bill over in the next month. But I'm saying is think about it from that point of view, right? Because what you're saying is fucking powerful. And I think you're actually teaching us a little bit more about effective outreach marketing. So outreach marketing is when you go out of your way to market your brand in a more aggressive way. And there's a lot of corny ways to go about doing it. Smart ways to go about doing it is to hone your craft and participate in contests and to actually be like, yo, everybody seems to be cool with you, right? Like, Sadistic. I don't know if you've ever heard of Sadistic, but he's really into Patreon as an independent artist. But a lot of people are fucking with it. I have a Patreon. Ismail is one of the patrons. Linda Williams is one of them. They're not like a lot of people, but like, yo, at a psychological level, dog, I'm telling you, man, it gives you this strength like you never thought you ever had, knowing that some people believe in you that heavy, right? And you'd be surprised at how many people will believe in you that fucking heavy with the kind of content you're fucking dropping, man. And yeah, Bandcamp's dope, but Patreon's the real shit. That's what I'm trying to tell everybody. And you know what? Just to like, not to go like too far deep with it, I don't want to like bore everyone to tears, but if you look at software marketing, it's all subscriptions. If you look at gaming, it's like a lot of subscription shit going on, but also a lot of microtransactions. But when I say subscriptions, I'm thinking more like the pay passes with Sony's and Microsoft. A lot of subscription shit is creeping into gaming as well. So everybody trying to get you on a subscription here and there. So everybody's getting used to subscriptions, and they're also used to paying their favorite YouTuber, and they're also used to fucking paying their favorite everybody. What else? Why wouldn't they pay their favorite Bars of Death rapper? If like there's so, because I see in the comments a lot of times, and this is a no disrespect, there's a lot of eyes on you if you're in Bars of Death. If that's true, and you have a Patreon, then that should be a monetizable asset to have those eyes on you, and that should be clean and legal because you fucking, it's your Patreon. So just to give you an idea of how I look at that situation, and so that's the kind of shit where when I'm hearing how your grind is working, I'm like, bro, you're actually doing the fucking things, man. Next thing you do is you fucking pop off at Twitch and do all your writing on your Twitch. Boom, now you fucking creating content you own. I'm just saying, the world is vast. Are you interested in the internet and leverage? Because you already seem to, but how do you feel about shit like Twitch or all this other stuff?
Oh, I don't know what to think about Twitch and stuff like that.
That's a very
You know,
fair answer.
Just kind of focus on, you know, these video submissions, and I'd definitely be open to expanding, you know, stuff like the Patreon and the Twitch thing, but I have no clue what the hell I would do with a Twitch or, you know, some sort of online streaming service.
It's a hard thing to figure out. I'm not gonna front like it was a fast thing for me to get into it. I act like it's an easy thing a little bit when I hype it up because you're supposed to when you're hyping shit up. But like the truth is it took me a while. The best thing I can say is, so here's what I see and why I think Twitch is a fascinating place. The DJs of Montreal are all on Twitch. And not just the DJs of Montreal. Like the DJs are just all on Twitch spinning for like 3-4 hour sets and shit. And on Twitch, there's this feature called a raid. So at the end of our shit, I'm going to raid somebody, which means I take my whole audience and I dump them into the next man's audience. And the next man shouts me out and I get a couple little follows off of it. So it has like this network effect on it. And honestly, like even the Bars of Death people, all the contest people, it's like fuck off on the Facebook shit. Let's get on Twitch and make this shit real. Because on top of that, you can do stuff like play the beats and not have to worry about the copyright shits. It gets around that for the live events. But we can all like kind of network in that way and then share audiences in a new and live way. So in a lot of ways, how you can grow your brand, honestly, just go write the shit live. Just sit there for 4 hours writing bars. If you're going to do it anyway, just do it with a webcam on. Oh, you're making a beat? Do it live. Just do it with the webcam on. And then just fuck around with it. And you know what? People, you know who did this to great success, actually? Just so you have a real name attached to it. Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park released like 3 albums this year called Quarantine Sessions or whatever. And he would just go live and make music and then released it all as albums on Spotify. Now, I'm going to have to say Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park knows a thing or two about a thing or two, you know, because he's kind of huge. So I'm saying that guy inspired me. So when I see somebody like you, like, look, I don't have the fucking time to sit there and do this as much as I would like because I'm doing this, which is fucking dope. I really like this. But for somebody like you, just to explain how it can work, and for anybody watching, right, all you need to do is fucking set up your webcam through an OBS. Google how to use OBS. It's the easiest shit in the world once you Google it. And then you run your shit. And then just do normal shit. Dude, I have people sitting around. I made a Facebook event while we were listening to your music. Like, I made a Facebook event for a future interview because I had to get it done. And I just did, like, I do sometimes just boring shit. And people stick around. It's the weirdest thing. If they feel you, then you talk to them when they're there in the chat. And you get to know them and stuff. And it makes you accessible in a way. So I'm not telling you I know all the answers for you. But that's just hopefully a little bit of inspiration for how you can think about Twitch. Patreon is about money. Think about things you can create for people.
Definitely keep that on the back burner for sure.
Anyway, I'm always into that kind of stuff. But let's talk a bit more about like this contest shit for real. This like grind that you're in. So how many times have you won?
I haven't won anything. I've placed a few times. The Beat Genius contest was the first W for sure.
That's super cool, man.
But yeah, there's definitely been some placements. I think I took 3rd with that Pick Your Mans Up track. Bars of Death's last tournament was a 16-man bracket style tournament. I moved through my side of the bracket to the finals. Against LMS. I Am Ulysses was a monster, man. Holy crap.
So speaking of that guy, just as a little tangent, he's the other Beat Genius winner that I owe an interview to, but he was too busy winning that shit to give me like the interview. Big facts of what actually happened.
Yeah, he's on some other level, man, and just came through and hit us with some sick flows and a wow factor. But yeah, I made it to the finals of Wrapping Paper, which is a hell of a feature, man, because If you go back and look at the wrapping paper event that's in the Bars of Death and the lineup that's there, every single artist that was on that lineup in the roster is a phenomenal artist. Like that to this day was, in my opinion, Bars of Death's greatest card ever.
Yo,
Because
man.
we've gone through a few cards where it was like, yo, that battle was shit, or that matchup wasn't the greatest. Like these artists didn't perform as well as we would have hoped, but this wrapping paper, man, holy crap, there was not a single matchup and a single submission that was garbage. Like everybody came with it, and it gave the judges a run for their money, made them work.
Yo, I love that you're describing this like this because it makes me think of wrestling. It makes me think of how we would talk about the pay-per-views back in the day. Yo, this car was trash. This one was fucking fire. The matchups is real good and shit. And I already think there's a whole bunch of parallels between hip-hop and fucking wrestling and fucking superheroes and shit. So I think it's so cool that you're framing it like that. Also, it's so legitimate, right? Like, I know to a lot of people it might sound kind of goofy, but I'm pretty sure they're at like 7K in the group or something fucking huge like that. Like, it's a serious number. And now
Yeah, I was up there.
when you talk about Facebook group numbers, yo, those are invested people, man. They got some real hardcore like ride or dies up in that group. I'm sure there's a lot of people like me who just lurk. I just watch. You just see me just there. But there's like a lot of people actually I do pay attention to it. Like I had seen your name before. I did know about the contest you're talking about. By this time it was there. So like, man, is this serious fucking world and a grind that's like popping off. So let's talk about how you would advise a person listening to this to get into this grind in the first place. What would be your tips on how to approach coming in? Because I blundered and I was arrogant and it got fucked up and I wasn't the best. So how would you tell somebody how to not be silly like me?
Preparation, man. Preparation is key. Practice and repetition, man. You get your bars down and you practice until you've got your delivery down enough to where you're not going to fumble on cam. Your confidence comes across like 100%, and
Speak on
yeah,
that.
just come with it, man.
Confidence comes across 100%. I saw confidence was a metric in one of these contests. Like it was a score on I don't remember which one it was, but somebody put confidence and I'm like, that's a weird one. What does that mean to you? Let's expand on that point.
It kind of goes hand in hand with how your delivery comes across. Like you got to be confident in your delivery. You can't come in and like you've got to make me believe that you mean what the hell it is you're talking about, man. Like if you're gonna tell me that you're gonna kill me, god damn it, I want to feel like you're gonna kill me, man.
So would you say there's a big theatrical component in a sense? And not to call it fake. Theatrical is about delivery. It's just embellishment. It's about like theater. It's about the art of it all. Would you say that the theatrical component is mad important then to this shit?
Definitely.
That's fucking interesting. Because, I'm not going to lie, I didn't try that hard my first one. But by the end now, I'm like fucking bopping around. I'm trying to get all into it. So I totally feel it. It's like it's a show. It's an online show that plays out that you can participate in the comments and be like involved in the movements. And I love the collaboration between the different groups because, for reals, it's like the same people in like all the groups. So you got to kind of know people here and there as it grows. So outside of preparation, what kind of bars do you think people should be bringing to the table? Like what kind of verses should you be writing?
I can't really speak on that one. The diversity from artist to artist is just, it's
Fair.
all over the place. And, you got people like OG Verbs who will come in and hit you with some double time and ride the beat perfectly. And then there's some abstract flows like, I want to say Juicebox. Juicebox has a bit of an abstract flow, but he pulls you in with what he's got to say, and
No, fair enough,
and
man.
then and then there's people like LMS and Escapone with the wordplay and shit like that, and then Fats with his smooth like veteran delivery, and people like me who I've said it in previous contest submissions where it was, I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling, which is something that I heard at a young age. So I cooked this bar which said, "Why rhyme to riddle when y'all mind is a little?" Straight to the fucking point.
So yeah, we actually got a question from the comments that just popped in again. It was just cool, man. We're like deep into this. We're like, what? It's an hour 30 at least now that we're into this. So yo, kudos, dog. We fucking riding. Is there a weird place musically that you go to sometimes that most people wouldn't assume for inspiration?
John Mayall, BB King.
Okay. Okay. That's fucking cool. I actually had another thought. So outside of rapping, what else are you into in your life? Tell us a little bit more about your hobbies and other interests.
Work, man. I'm a big workaholic.
I feel
You
you.
know, I'm a carpenter by trade, and
No shit, that's
I
so cool.
absolutely,
What's it
I
like to
love what I do, man.
yo, tell us about being a carpenter. Believe it or not, people who are invested in you will want to hear about what it's like to be a carpenter.
It sucks. It's hard work. You're in the elements all the time. The people that you work around are nothing but assholes, man. Your higher ups don't think anything of you. But I wouldn't have it any other way, man. It's such a great environment all the time. It definitely keeps me out of trouble. It
So
gives
it's
me something to do every day.
so you're like, it's absolutely trash, but I love it. That's a little fucking
Yeah.
funny. I'm not gonna lie. No, but it's cool. I actually kind of appreciate what you're saying. So I actually really love my job. I love what I do. I have a lot of trouble with the environment, maybe because of the personalities and stuff, but I don't actually dislike it. Like I may complain for fucking days about it. Who doesn't complain about their job? It's your fucking job.
Yeah.
You're kind of supposed to complain about your job. Isn't that like the normal people shit? You know what I'm saying?
Non-written rule.
So like, look, but I love what you're saying because I don't know. There's sometimes this weird illusion out there that people like can get away with not working and rely on like raw talent to like bang shit off. But like the fact is like to get beats kind of costs money, right? Like and
Yeah.
to get like production,
Equipment.
equipment, huge expense, and all of it. Like, did you design your logo?
No, I had it designed for me.
Probably, unfortunately, had a fee, right? And it was
Yeah.
worth it because that's a hype. That's a fire logo, actually. It's actually like one where I'm like, you know what? Regardless of your music, I might like we rock that shit. That's like a fucking cool ass logo, dude. Nah, stop. Look at that shit. And y'all can hit him up and fucking cop that merch. That's what it is. That's fucking
They're on it.
dope, dude. How'd you get
They're
into
on everything.
merch?
We got them as small as like stickers and as big as fucking, decos, t-shirts, hoodies.
I
We were doing drawstring bags and stuff like that.
So I basically finally got a fire ass logo that I want to make merch with, and I don't like googling shit if I can talk to smart people who clearly got their shit together. Walk me through what it is to get like merch and how that process went for you. I know that might seem boring, but that's that shit up on this channel.
Due to the secluded area that I live in, man, the merch grind was a bit of a tough one. And, to go through providers and stuff like that, to get the units themselves, like the garments, is not that big of a deal. Like we can always find garments for cheap online. But to have somebody, like I like to work local as much as I possibly can, to have somebody,
Woo!
to keep money inside of the community,
Y'all hear what he
So
just said there, though? That's big important. That's why the logo I made, it was Montreal made. Big important. Anyway, keep going.
yeah, the lady who made my logo lives just down the road from me. Um, and I had a dude who was pressing my logo onto garments. Like the only thing I couldn't get local was the garments themselves. But yeah, it just costs money to get everything in order, and it's a grind of its own for sure. But You know, shout out to my girlfriend who put in the footwork for all of that, man. I just tell people, I just rap, man. Talk to her about the merch, man. And for anybody who's interested in merch, I'm gonna redirect you to her, and you can talk to her about the merch.
Yo, straight up, shout out girlfriends. We always gotta give flowers to the girlfriends, yo, because your lady friend Bonnie's sitting here in this interview, and she was riding with me with this next interview last night till like 12:45 in the morning. Yeah, I actually booked some shit where I was like on a call till like 2:45 in the morning, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta be like live soon. So like, but yo, she sticks with it through it, man. She's wonderful, and honestly, I don't think I had this life without her. It's like one of those things where it's like I don't know how to describe it really, but she's just so valuable to the success of everything that's happening here. So if I have to shout her out on every single interview, I'll do it because I think it's important to let people know how important it is to have a good partner that's got like your back in that shit. You know, like, and you know what? It comes up a lot. Actually, you'd be surprised how many times dudes are sitting here being like, "Yo, my girlfriend holds it down." And that's actually like it's
Yep.
so rewarding, no? Like you look on Facebook and everybody's miserable and in like terrible relationships and shit because those are the only people sharing stuff.
Just lost you.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it'll come back. It clicks in, it clicks out. Um, we'll give it a quick
There we go.
second. It'll probably work soon. Okay, we back at it. So yeah, if you look on Facebook, all I see is people fucking complaining about relationships and you'll never find a woman who's blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yo, hold the fuck up. I got a woman that's blah 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 blah. Hold the fuck up. Like, yo. And the thing is because when you have a woman, part of it is you're probably just not on Facebook sharing every fucking detail of your life with her because she'll fucking kill you. You get away with what you can get away with. The ones who make fun of her Facebook post, and that's it. You know, everything else is like, yo, you keep that to your fucking world, right? You keep that to yourself. Is your relationship with her, you know? And that's the thing. So all the happy people are not miserable on Facebook complaining. But I just wanted to let y'all know that tons of people coming on through here are having these interesting things happen in their life. Like, yo, merch grind. My girlfriend helped me make that happen. Yo, I don't have merch yet. Girlfriend, you want to help me make that happen? Anyways, yeah, no. We're gonna work on it. It's actually me that's loafing. I was like, I don't want to just do shirts and shit. I want to have like unique items that are like weird, and that's where I'm at. I don't want to just do, cause yo, I mean everybody's got shirts, so like that seems like a highly competitive place. And no disrespect to other people, I might be like I'm being stupid with it. My first, cause yo, there's a whole bunch of sites now where you can just kind of like get merch done. And I would love to go local, but maybe I'm gonna go maybe use a couple little sightsy poos here and there. Cause you know what I would like? I would like to do fucking slippers. I want my logo
Oh
on
yeah.
slippers, you know? Cause who else is selling slippers right now? I don't see slippers. So once I have like 4 or 5 items that I think are fucking out there, that but also I want to wear it. I want to rock your shirt and then wear my slippers. Cause it's you won't see those on cam, but I'll see them and I'll smile. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we got a question from Sly0116. Do you see yourself doing a live stream anytime soon?
With that being said, that's a perfect segue into a message that I received yesterday. I am doing an online performance on
Oh,
February 20th,
that's cool.
for the homie Too Deep, who did the New Year's Eve show for Iconic Canon Records. So he just signed me up for February 20th to come over and do a set for him.
Dude, that's pretty incredible, man. So yeah, we just said February 20th, Sly. He's gonna be rocking a live performance. I'm looking into getting like a whole Zoom call cipher thing going on in my life, over rocking it on my Twitch. How do you feel about shit like that? Come in, bust a little off the dome, a little freestyle. Why? Cause yo, if you're gonna do live performances, let me give you some fucking tips, dog. Latency's an asshole. It's really like, yo, no backtracks, no fucking double choruses. Cut all that shit out, dog. You can't do it live. It's just not. It's not gonna happen. You're gonna sound like whatever. And if you do have a chorus, drop it. Like, be like, yo, I gotta drop the chorus, and just bop your head. It'll sound better, and it's so important to do that, right? The other
Yeah.
thing though is if you had the beat, just the beat playing, alright? Now you can just drop a little fucking freestyle, and you are gonna be off. It is not gonna sound like what you sound like. but you're gonna be consistently off, so you're gonna be on time to them. That's the trick to live shit. So if you're doing it in this world, you're gonna be on a fucking whatever Zoom or whatever. So trust, man, this is just like the way to rock it. But how do you feel about popping on Zoom calls and doing some fucking freestyles and rapping like that?
That'd be pretty cool, man. I'd be down with that for sure.
That's fucking fire. There's a whole bunch of shits out there. Like you should look into something like an end of the week. I can link you that after, but basically every Sunday night they have a little ciphery poo. And shout out end of the week because they're hooking me up with cool people in New York to talk to. So on Saturday they're like one of their guys is my guest. So it's kind of cool because like you're gonna be here and then over there those guys. So when they go look at the Twitch, you're gonna pop up mixed in with all these other people, which is fun, you know. And yo, you're interesting. So I fucking appreciate this chat a lot. Honestly, I love your grind and I love your dedication and I love how much fucking hustle you put into this shit. But end of the week is fascinating, right? So they have this Zoom and you can on Thursday nights pop in at 10 p.m. and just freestyle. But if you're a track guy and you got writtens, you come through on fucking Sunday night and you fucking sign up on their list and you drop a little written and it's like, yo, I'm telling you on a regular like 40 people on this fucking call. Plus other people broadcasting it to other places, plus they're fucking growing up their shit, etc., right? And then I'm telling you, man, with what you're doing, play one of your tracks, just drop all back tracks, just fucking rap it, and you probably gonna crush it. Like, can you just spit a tune right now? Can you just like fucking bust a rap right now? Are you able to just do a little one?
Probably yes and probably no.
Fair enough. I don't know. I guess you can do some, but not all. I don't know how to interpret that. But
I don't like being put on the spot, but check this. Yo, this is an invitation to anybody who wanted. You want it, you're gonna get it. I promise you're gonna regret it. And I
that was
fucked that
fire.
one up,
That
man.
was fire. Dog, it's hard on the spy. It's hard on the spy.
Yeah.
I did do that to you. And you stepped up to the
Yeah.
occasion, and that was fire enough. If it didn't work out perfect, that's fucking great. You still stepped up to the occasion, and you fucking knocked it out, dog. You crushed. Because I felt it. I felt it, and you flipped it. And, I watched that shit happen.
Right now, I'm in the mind state of Tracks of the Titans. I've been trying to fucking memorize my Tracks of the Titans lately, and that's what's on my fucking mind right now. So to go back and to try to spit something else that's written.
Yo, I feel that a lot. I'm at the point where I'm having trouble remembering other stuff. I have to like actively relearn shit every time I go fucking rap a thing, and it's fucking hard. So it makes me be like, yo, I gotta just like this interview shit a little more. I just don't have to memorize as much. But no, man, that's so fucking fascinating. So if we ever hold some shit, you're totally welcome to pop on that Zoom call and bust a little whatever. Do some little off the domes. You'll have time to mentally prepare and come. You can do a little written if you want. Nobody fucking cares. It's about rapping and networking. And I love the fact that you're super open-minded to that shit. So what else do you do in your life? What else goes on in your world outside of just is it just music and work? You just grind, just music, work, grind, music, network, grind?
That's pretty much it, man. Music, work, and grind. Prior to COVID and fucking my knee up last year, I used to play ball a lot. Like there was a recreational men's drop-in ball I used to go and play every week. And
that's fucking cool, man. Are you watching Netflix and all that shit? What's your favorite streaming platform? I'm a little bit curious. Netflix is not my favorite these days.
YouTube, man. I watch dumb shit on YouTube all the time.
What's your favorite dumb shit channel? Who's your favorite YouTube channels? I actually really love YouTube. It's one of my favorite places to be as a consumer of product.
You know, I don't even play Call of Duty anymore, man, and I haven't played it in years, but I still watch people like Marksman and his brother Tyler. I am Wildcat.
Fresh. Well, okay, I'm gonna ask it. What is it about watching people play Call of Duty that is enticing? Because yo, I don't like fully get it personally. I know that it's cool because a lot of y'all watch it, but what is it about Call of Duty in particular that is such an attractive game?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't even remember why the hell I stumbled upon these guys, but I stumbled upon them, and Marksman plays a game mode that I never played. Like, I hated Search and Destroy, and that's all this guy plays. And
so that's interesting.
I watch him for who he is, and like he's really honest as well. You know, like he doesn't come across as somebody fake, and just.
Yo,
You
that's
know,
really interesting. Cause yo, people sometimes as creators don't understand the mind of consumers, and you just flipped into consumer mode, right? So you started describing why you're loyal to somebody that you're loyal to in a logical kind of way. Cause it's maybe a little weird. You're like, I don't really play Call of Duty. I don't even know why I really like. I don't even like that game mode, but I like him. Like,
yeah.
yo, that's interesting, right? That's how you build that like audience shit. So you're actually kind of unpacking it from the other end right there. So like, what does he do that's cool?
I just, he just plays game and fucking gives us a commentary over top of it. Man. Sometimes he'll break down videos, or I don't watch his, making of classes videos or stuff like that, but I just watch it. Sometimes I don't even watch it. I just listen to him fucking think around on the internet.
I like
Um,
that.
other other channels I watch are stuff like AVE. Uncle Bumblefuck is an amazing dude, like just packed full of knowledge in his head, and he does like tool breakdowns and stuff like that. Like he'll take apart a tool and he'll tell you everything that it's made of. Break down what the components of the housing is, like whether it's a PA6 glass reinforced fiberglass, or the components and stuff like that. I watch stuff like Essential Craftsman,
Yeah, that's
which is
interesting.
a which is a carpentry channel, and he's been building a spec house over the past couple of years. We've been getting little videos on it, and
Yo, I'm not even
you
gonna
know,
lie. I respect you more for what you just said there than a lot of other things you said. Not to say I don't respect you, but yo, because that's your day job hustle, and you're like taking that time and effort to educate yourself further on how to do your craft better. That's actually really fucking cool, dude. That's like really impressive shit.
well, he drops like knowledge gems as well. Little tricks of the trade. He's an older guy. Like I'm talking, he's got to be late 50s, early 60s or something like that. And this guy's got a YouTube channel out building houses, and he gives some phenomenal tricks on, just tiny little things that increase efficiency, and I bring it to work with me, and it makes me a better carpenter.
I think that's incredible, right? Because I'm not gonna lie, I like this guy Scott Galloway because his mind is interesting and he talks about predictions a lot and tech predictions. So like the way he thinks helps me kind of look at the world of the internet better because that's kind of what I do with my shit. So I think it's like a way to become a master of your craft is to actually take that time to go do that educational stuff, and the fact that you just do it is a gain. The kind of stuff that people need to understand about success, right? It comes from when you put in those extra things. Like you said, I got to rap out them bars. I got to practice them. I got to be able to memorize the flow. I got to be able to drop it perfectly. And then only then can I even start to do the video part where I start practicing. I'm sure you do a bunch of takes until you get it just right and all of that stuff. And like people act like sometimes motherfuckers come through with the one take, but they only come through with the one take because they did all that shit at home, right? Like there's no such thing as this magical like cookie. Like there's like seven people that probably like I could do it, and like good for you. For most people, it's like there's no such thing as the one take, right? For most people, it's practice the shit out of this. Yo, shout out Peter West, and he says salute you rock. So you just got a fucking shout out there. So that's what it is. And yeah, I mean, I just think it's cool that you're so candid about it because that's the truth of the matter. You know, my contest entries aren't gonna win because I'm never gonna put in the work that you're gonna put in. So you're gonna beat me every fucking time, and I respect you for it. I'm very happy to have you beat me in contest. By the way, it's cool. I like what you do. It's fucking nice. Like I'm like again, I'm not trying to win that shit. I'm actually just there for the fun of it. I love the culture that's there. Like I'm not like, so I'm kind of glad that even in a bigger sense we had this chat, right? Because here you are on my channel next to all sorts of other people from all sorts of different walks of life. But in this case, we're talking about how this Facebook contest grind is actually a useful and practical thing. Hold up, though. Do you also fuck with the TikTok contest grind, like the duets and shit like that? Do you also fuck with the Instagram contest grind?
I just recently made an IG page to as one of the pre-requirements to entering a contest. So it
Mm.
was you had to go and like us on IG and stuff like that. So I went over and I made an IG page just as a requirement to enter a contest. And I don't really mess with it that much. And as far as TikTok, man, so many people have been telling me you got to get on TikTok. You got to get on TikTok.
All right, let me give you a good reason why you might have fun on TikTok. Okay, why you're gonna have fun on TikTok. Okay, because if it's not fun, why are you gonna be there, right? So it's this duet shit. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had time to fuck with it because I don't want to start new things until I have the time to do it right and really dedicate myself to it and get into it from like a headspace perspective. But Token did it, and it was one of the guys, Kyle Luntz, I think, was doing it in a contest group. That's how I think it was, and he started sharing this shit where, and I learned this through these contests, right? Like it wasn't like outside of it; it was in this ecosystem. It's upping my social media game. So Token did this shit where he does like half of a track. He does a little 1-2 bar, leaves it open, a little 1-2 bar, a little 2-3 bar, leaves it open, and then when he's off camera, he's just like, or whatever, like it's fucking goofy as shit, right? Beat makers be doing this. So my dude Spades find these beat makers and they just leave it up and then they're just like, and it's all fucking goofy, but you are, as the rapper, are doing a duet. So that means that their video's on the one side and your video is there and you're just rapping over it, right? So you got your little setup like that with your little phone, boppity 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 bars, 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 and you throw that out in the world. Then you find the next beat like that. And I think it's very similar to what you're into already. So look, TikTok's kind of weird, okay? It's really weird. But the thing about TikTok is that TikTok is not like one thing. It's like the algorithm will figure out what part of TikTok you want to be in. So as an example, my girlfriend likes plants, like growing plants. And you know what I discovered? Plant talk. That is literally the hashtag, plant talk. And it's motherfuckers who give you updates on the progress of their plants as they grow them. So you'll see them watering a plant and talking about their plant for like 30 seconds. And then they'll give you like plant updates. Then there's like stoner talk or 420 talk where it's just a bunch of dudes like, pass the fucking joint and shit like that. And then there's booty shaking talk, which, I mean, sorry, Bonnie, it's a wonderful place, yo. Why? Because you watched Megan Thee Stallion go viral 3 times off of booty shaking talk, right? And it's just this shit. She's like, yada, 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 yada. And you're watching girls just start twerking every time that part of the song comes on. And I'm like, yo, beat maker, let's do a 2-minute fucking booty shaking song. Let's see if we can go viral on TikTok, right? So like I'm looking at it like, look, it's stupid, okay, but it's not like kids anymore. It's mostly like people like us going, this is fucking weird. But there's so much music in it that like it starts becoming like really kind of fun, right? And then you'll watch these stupid goofy couple jokes. And I like the couple jokes. What it's like living with your boyfriend, and I'm like, guilty, I am that annoying. And then you'll be like, what it's like living with your girlfriend, and I'm like, yep, marriage life, that's what it is, yo. And it's like, it's just, you start like getting it, so it's gonna figure you out and start feeding you the fucking shit you like. And that's what's actually kind of cool about TikTok, is that whatever the fuck you interact with, you'll get more of. And in that regard, as a musician, yo man, I put all of my contest entries on TikTok. They're all there. And I still get some hearts on them sometimes. And like all of my little acapellas and shit that I do here and there, part of it is I do it for the gram and the TikTok. I'm not really doing it for the book. I'm doing it for the gram and the talk. Because while the talk only has a 1-minute thing now, they're looking into expanding it to a 3-minute thing. And yo, when TikTok hits 3 minutes, oh my God, I'm going to move heavy to TikTok. Because at that point, I can take 3-minute clips of shit like this and put it on the talk. The talk's about to grow. Plus, live is big there. You get to 1,000 followers and you can go live and collect donations. Like, there's reasons a guy like you might want to look at a TikTok. Sorry to go all fucking schooly on you. I just figure, like, we're having a chit chat. I would have this chat with you off camera. So I figure, why not do it on camera?
My girlfriend definitely has mentioned that to me too. I mean, she's been addicted to just watching TikTok as well, and she's been telling me, "You need to get on here. You need to get on here." There's been people who've blown on TikTok, like numbers go up, when people are interested and invested in you, right?
Like we got a little mini viral TikTok by accident. So apparently, if you take a laser pointer and you shine it through Canadian money, it shows up on the wall with the number in it. So we did this. Because my girlfriend's a genius. It was my only successful TikTok, and it was her idea. Go fucking figure, right? It's the truth. The only time it was her good idea. So we do it, and it got to like 5,000 fucking TikTok views overnight. And I'm like, wow, That's
Overnight.
like that's like a lot. Like it's not even a lot for TikTok, but like for me it was like that's not like the 100 views I got the other day. And then she didn't want to become a TikToker, so we don't have a successful TikToker channel because she's not helping me make a TikTok channel because she would be fucking good at it. Just fucking make your
Yeah.
plant videos and shit. And we have anyway. Um, but yeah, so that's cool. Would you be open to like pursuing it after this little chat?
Yeah, definitely. After hearing you speak about it and then just being told about it in the past there a little bit, man, I think it's definitely something that I'm gonna look into.
And again, you can just watch it for a while. You know, like you don't actually have to do anything right away. You just go follow
Yeah,
Token and a
those
few other rappers and just like look at it for a minute, taking a little poop.
those duets are pretty cool, man. Kato from UP or formerly Funk Volume does duets with his beats and shit too.
Mm. And that's it. So I mean, if this is gonna, here's what's up, man. Like on the real, the beat makers I know don't know this yet, but a lot of the beat makers I know are gonna get me hitting them up on like, yo, how can we use TikTok to like use your beats to create this kind of a thing and reproduce this kind of shits and blah blah blah. Let's make Montreal fucking pop by you guys going viral. I think beat makers are the future of a lot of things. That's my honest opinion. Rappers are cool, but we need those beat makers like fucking crazy. Without them, we're kind of in a weird pickle. But
Yeah,
if all these people is on TikToks and making the beats available, and then we all jump on TikTok and start busting our little like, because you have 60 seconds, right? Like everybody can bust out a 60-second guy, like, and how long is it even gonna take to memorize that? And you can even just record it in chunks because it's TikTok, so you can even get out of actually memorizing your shit. Like you can just do the audio as a written, and then you can just make a goofy video out of your entry so that way you get out of the fact that like you can play with it. It's fucking TikTok. Who cares? It's a fucking video. Yo, what up, Peter
huh.
West? Think about TikTok. So Peter West is the lovely beat maker for my contest. He's in the fucking chats right now. So Bridge the Gap's Volume 1. That's what it is. Bridge the Gap with Bars Volume 1. It's because we're Bridge the Gap this show. So I figured, fuck it, we'll extend it to a contest. So it's the same
Yep.
shit. 16 bars over a Peter West beat. Fucking hundo prize. Blah, blah, blah. Same crap as everybody else. Nothing real special about it except the fact that I'm doing it. And it's cool in that regard for me. But like, yo, I would totally fucking figure out a way to bring us all to TikTok and make it like work within the realms of building a community around this shit too, because like it's where the kids is at and where the housewives
Yeah.
is at. Because there's a lot of housewives on TikTok. There's a lot of women on TikTok, dude. Like a lot of women are on TikTok, dude, and a lot of dudes is in these contest groups. So I'm trying to say, not. And I'm just saying to expose beyond the scope. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now. I feel like I'm just talking at you. I'm sorry, dude. I don't mean to be like domineering. Usually, as it goes on a little bit later, I do get chattier.
That's fine.
So yeah, what about you then? What's up in your next future? What's going on for you?
I gotta get this goddamn album finished, man. I got a couple of collabs that I gotta finish off, and a couple that I gotta chase down as well. But I think I'm pretty close to releasing a 12 tracker anyway. So
That's fresh,
I
man.
have album art for that. It's gonna be named the Gatekeeper album. Where that name came from, yeah, I don't know. It was just fuck it. I'm the gatekeeper. You get through me, motherfucker.
Fair enough, man. Um, it's gonna be in the same kind of style as what you've got previously recorded, or are we gonna get kind of a whole new experience?
It's a lot of the same style, definitely. I think I might go back and check out a lot of these tracks. I might kibosh a few of them that are currently recorded and release those as singles and then throw something else onto it because I want to tell a story. If it's going to be a body of
Ooh,
work, it's got to be a proper body of work.
tell
You
us more
can't
about
just
that.
you can't just throw in like 16 tracks of just random crap talking about random crap. Like you got to be able to to keep everybody invested in you. Like those ears have to be, they you got to want people. You got to have people want to continue listening, man. Like from track 1 to track XX. Just
So how would you keep
And
people listening? Let's actually break that down, because what you're saying is big facts. Actually, I agree with you 100. Like, I don't disagree. I just want to hear you express, a little bit more about what you mean.
it would be kind of the same way that I do a like a performance set. Like my whole entire performance set is built on telling a story from my upbringing and to who I am today. A lot of the early tracks, like I'll start my performance with, a lot of fuck yous and violent shit. And then we'll get into, some of the party stuff. And then you'll see me mature on the microphone, and I'll come out and I'll hit you with some very, very truthful stuff and honest things like pick your mans up. And if you all just try, stuff like that.
Mm.
And yeah, just kind of tell a story on the microphone as I'm performing. But I just kind of want to do that with this album as well, as tell a little bit of a story without having to tell the entire story.
I really appreciate what you're saying. And you know why? Because that is what I believe you're supposed to do at albums. So one of the things we do is the Classic Quest, where we run through classic albums throughout history, track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every song, blah, blah, blah. But we noticed that all the classics kind of do that for I mean, there's exceptions, but mostly every album that's good, to me, has an arc. And maybe I make it up as I go along. Maybe you agree with my interpretation. Maybe you as an artist disagree with my interpretation. But the fact that you're thinking about it like that and you're willing to go, yo, this isn't the right vibe or sound of it, makes me hella invested in wanting to check out your work in the future when it drops. No, I'm a fan, dude. I'm a fan of you now. That's what happened over the course of like this whole interview and shit. So I just want you to know that. You're a dope dude. Your fucking music is profound. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure what else to say without feeling like we're gonna stretch it along. So I wanted to know if you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with the rest of the world before we take our separate ways.
Come and check out Bars of Death, man. The Tracks of the Titans competition. This track that I got on the go right now is absolutely bananas. Like, it blows every and anything I've ever done out of the water.
Fair enough, man.
I've given a few sneak peeks to it, to the producer and a couple of close homies of mine. I just sent them a track like, hey, listen to this. This is a sneak peek to my my track submission for Bars of Death. And yeah, come over and mess with us over at Bars of Death and yeah, see what we're all about and throw your hat in the ring and maybe walk away with a bit of coin.
Big facts, man. I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to do my little outro thing. And for all y'all watching on the Twitch, I'm going to try to raid Lamef. Maybe Twitch chat's broken. Maybe it's not. We'll see how it goes. For some people, it's kind of being weird. But basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is I appreciate you. I feel like your story is absolutely fucking dope. I feel like, hold on a second, I fucked up. Absolutely, like, learned a lot myself. Like, I feel like there was a lot of learning here. You gave us some big insight into your grind, into what you've been through, into what you've had to struggle with and put up with to achieve the goals that you're actually trying to fucking achieve, right? And to me, that's huge. To me, that's a big deal. Like, it's not just like a little thing, right? You actually have to like try really fucking hard to pull that off. So yeah. I really appreciate that. So I thank you for sharing your story with us. I thank you for sharing everything that you shared with us. On top of that, I want to thank all of you watching it. I appreciate all of you with us. Thank you all for being here. Feel free to leave comments in the future for the YouTube version down the line. Like the video, blah, 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 etc., etc. When you're ready, man, in the future, we'd love to have you back on here, have an update conversation, feel like where you're at with life, all that other good shit. It was really a big pleasure, dude, sincerely. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadam, Secrets Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. Support what we do. So if you also support what we do, you can hit that little subscribe button on Twitch, or you can go ahead and fucking hit us up at patreon.com/behindthatsuit. That would be fucking cool to you. On that note, everyone, it's been wonderful. Live long and prosper, everyone.